Suspense. Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations bring you radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Starring tonight, Mr. Burt Lancaster in Anton Leader's production of The Big Shot by Brett Halliday. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
You gotta be tough to be a big shot. Especially when you're cursed with yellow curly hair and a pretty baby face. I learned about that early, when I was a kid, and the other kids started razzing. I learned that if you bounced a brick off somebody's head, the razzing stopped, and you were somebody. It was a very profitable lesson, which paid off as I grew up, and I found it pays dividends whether you're on East 10th Street or down in Mexico.
Morton! Charlie Morton!
Yeah?
Well, welcome to Mexico.
Well, thanks. You're Quinn, I suppose.
Right, glad to meet you.
Same here.
Well, it's lucky you were the only American on the bus, or I'd never have recognized you.
No?
No. Collins wrote he was sending a young fellow out just from engineering school, but I didn't expect him.
Listen, Quinn, never mind my looks. You asked for a mining engineer, and you got one. Any complaints?
Why, of course.
Well, if there are, you can pay me off my guarantee, and I'll get back on that bus.
Now, wait a minute, Morton. I didn't mean to offend you. I got no complaints as long as you can do the job.
I can do the job.
Yes, I guess maybe you can.
Now, how about a drink?
Sure. Right over here at the corner. In Mexico, there's always a bottle of tequila not too far away. That's one thing makes it attractive.
Must be the only thing, then.
Oh, I don't know. Some of us like it down here.
Is that so?
Why'd you come, then?
Well, that's easy. They told me there was money in it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. In here.
Bienvenidos, señores. ¿Qué quieren ustedes?
Dos tequilas, por favor.
Dos tequilas, sí.
I hope you like tequila, Morton. It's about all they have around here.
It'll do. Are all the bartenders like that?
No, that's Lolita. Her father owns the place.
Oh. She ought to be plenty good for business.
Yes, so. Say, your stuff has all arrived. Last box of equipment came in last night, so you can start setting up the mill as soon as we get back.
Don't worry, I'll get it up.
I'm not worried, but time is important.
Dos tequilas, señores.
Sí, gracias, Lolita.
Yeah. Thanks, beautiful.
Beautiful
See, baby, that's you. From top to bottom.
is okay, señor.
There's plenty okay, baby. Plenty.
Gracias, señor.
Well.
Gracias.
Maybe I'm going to like Mexico after all.
Look, Martin, I don't know how much Collins told you about the setup.
Not much. Said there was a chance for some money and plus a little excitement.
He didn't tell you there might be more than excitement. Jail, maybe, or worse.
He mentioned it.
Oh. Okay, then. You understand that we've got a ticklish proposition on our hands. We've got to be careful, especially with these people. If they knew what we were planning.
Okay, what are we planning?
We struck a rich vein of gold quartz in the remote mountains about 20 miles from here. I've got my crew mining as fast as we can before anybody around here finds out about it.
So?
The tough part comes in getting it out of the country. There's a wave of Mexico for Mexicans right now, and if we haul the ore out to the regular stamping mill in town, the government will confiscate most of the gold.
I see. So you bring me in to set up a small stamping mill at the mine and mill the ore there, huh?
Right. We figure that in the next month we can sluice out maybe $500,000 worth of free gold. Then get out quick before anybody gets wise.
$500,000?
Yes, but we'll still have to smuggle it out of the country. It's going to be a tough job.
Kid stuff.
Yeah? It's not just the law we've got to worry about.
Well, what else? Lolita?
Sure. These people would inform on us if they found out. But they wouldn't tell the government. They'd tell some bandit gang around in the hills somewhere.
Bandits. I suppose they got a Robin Hood down here, too.
Okay, Morton, maybe you'll learn.
Well, at that $500,000 would tempt anybody.
And a 20th of that is your share, maybe $25,000. That's not hay.
Señores.
Careful, Morton.
Señores. ¿Quieren ustedes otra bebida?
No, gracias. ¿Cuánto?
Un peso. Gracias, señores.
Hey, Lolita,
Sí, señor.
you understand, comprende English?
Sí, señor. I speak English muy good.
Oh, so I see.
Never mind, baby. A little is enough. Your old man ever give you any time off?
¿Qué, señor? No comprendo.
Well, let's put it another way. Are you doing anything Saturday night?
Wait a minute, Morton. Better not make any dates.
Well, why not? The guy can't work all the time, especially with stuff like this around. You don't expect me to stay up there.
Be quiet, you fool.
Okay. Never mind, beautiful. See you later. Comprende?
Si, senor. See you later.
Yeah, you get the idea.
Hasta luego.
Look, Morton, I warned you. Be careful.
I'm a big boy. I can take care of myself and her.
Just remember there's $500,000 involved.
Yeah, $500,000.
Maybe, altogether, for the company. $25,000 for you.
$500,000.
Listen, Morton.
And $25,000 for me.
That's not enough for you?
It'll do for a start.
You think you're a pretty big shot, don't you, Morton?
And you don't like it, is that it?
I don't like you.
That bus is still out there. And you could get another engineer down here in maybe 6 weeks.
Something tells me I ought to take you up on that, but I don't have to like you. As long as you do your job and stay out of trouble.
Okay, then let's leave it at that. Whatever happens, it won't be me who'll have any regrets. The setup was just like Quinn said, except that the ore was even richer than I'd expected. There was a pile of it already mined, and I put the men to work right away assembling the stamping mill. You know, hard rock miners are funny. They hate being bossed by an engineer who's learned all his mining out of books. And they didn't like it either that I was getting a bigger share of the net than they were. And of course, to add that, my looks, the yellow hair, and the baby face. I knew that sooner or later I'd have to show them that they couldn't draw any wrong conclusions from my face. Well, it didn't take long for the showdown to come.
Come on, Hank. Let's knock off. Chow's ready.
Wait a minute, Logan.
Yeah?
That sluice is not tight. You better get down there and tighten up those bolts.
It can wait till tomorrow. Chow's ready.
I said get down there and tighten up those bolts.
Who's gonna make me? A dude engineer?
I am.
Why, you measly little... Tougher than you. Yeah, but you're not tough enough. Little man. Me, will you? Show you.
Well, look out. Look out. You're too close to the gully. Morton, look out. Morton, you knocked him over the cliff. He went down in the gully.
I saw him.
Hurry up. Get down there, man. He's probably hurt bad. Must have fallen 30 feet. Morton, where are you going?
Somebody said supper was ready.
You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to knock him over the cliff.
Yeah, well, they asked for it.
But you didn't have to fight like that? Like you meant to kill him?
They wouldn't take orders, and I had to show them.
Okay, Morton.
Quinn! Hey, Quinn.
Yeah?
He's dead. His neck's broke.
So, you got to show us all how tough you are, don't you, Morton? Even if it amounts to murder.
Nobody else wants any supper. I do. I'm hungry.
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Mr. Burt Lancaster in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Oh, my. I wouldn't call suspense very relaxing, Dr. Lewis.
Well, suspense is certainly no sedative, Mary, but I like it that way, full of ginger.
Dear.
Like those Autolite resistor spark plugs you mentioned, hey, Doc?
Now, say, Hap, don't you get me started on those Autolite resistors, because I'm a bug on them.
I guess it's pretty important that you doctors have spark plugs that you can really depend on, huh?
Right as rain, Hap. You know, my patients just can't wait. They expect me to be Johnny on the spot, day or night, fair weather or foul.
Yes, folks, come rain or shine, Autolite resistor spark plugs are just what the doctor ordered for your car. And right now, you can get Autolite resistor spark plugs anywhere in the United States, and they're sensational. Why, no other spark plugs can give and maintain such performance. Autolite ignition engineered a 10,000 ohm resistor right into the Autolite spark plugs. This permits a wider gap setting and maintains it far longer than any other spark plugs. Replace your narrow gap spark plugs with a set of wide gap Autolite resistor spark plugs. You can actually tell the difference in your car. Autolite resistor spark plugs are a great new development of Autolite ignition engineers. Autolite engineers, tests, and produces complete ignition systems. That's why Autolite spark plugs work in special harmony with your car's entire electrical system. Get a set of Autolite resistor spark plugs right away.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Burt Lancaster as Charles Morton in The Big Shot, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
gotta be tough. It's a tough world, and you gotta be tougher than the next guy. I was tougher than Joe Logan, that's all. I beat him in a fair fight. If he slipped and fell over that cliff, well, it's just too bad. While they buried him, I ate my supper. After that, I had no more trouble with the men. The first Saturday that everything was running smoothly, I went up to Quinn's tent. Quinn!
Yeah? Oh, come in, Morton. I was just looking over the take so far. What's your guess?
Maybe 100,000.
Yes, maybe. We'll pull at least 250.
We'll get that $500,000, don't you worry.
If nobody bothers us.
Don't be so jumpy. Nobody's going to bother us.
I hope not. Say, Morton, I got to admit you've done a whale of a job so far.
Forget it.
Don't worry, Morton. I don't like you any better. But I can appreciate it when a man knows his job and does it well.
Okay. Look, I'm going into town. You want any supplies?
I'm sending Andy in for him.
Well, there's no use of the two of us going.
Morton, I'm the boss here.
Are you?
Yes,
You told me as long as I did the job, that was all you cared about.
that's right.
Okay, I've done the job. It'll take the crew 2 days to catch up. I'm going to town.
I'll tell Andy you'll get the supplies.
Aquí, querido. More tequila?
See, baby. Come here.
Oh, Senor Charm.
Love me, baby?
Pero sí, querido. I have never met one like you.
Yeah, that goes double, baby. You're sensational. You'd knock 'em dead in the States. I'd like to take you back there. I'd like to dress you up in fancy clothes with diamonds in your hair.
Diamonds? Oh, senor, you must be very rich.
Not yet. But give me time.
It's very interesting. Tell me more, querido.
Later, baby, later. Right now, let's blow this joint.
But, Senor Charlie, is it not you must go back to wherever you go?
They can do without me for a while. I like it here better. Okay?
Okay, senor. Vaya, ándale!
Well, what was that? What'd the kid say?
It's nothing, Senor Charlie. It's a game they play.
Well, what'd he say?
He say, beware El Chico.
Oh, who's El Chico?
It's nobody, senor. You must not mind.
Sounds like a Mexican goblin or something.
El Chico is, they say, a bandido. You know, like Americanos. He rob, kill them. They see me with Americano. They say, beware El Chico. It's a game.
I get it. He's the Mexican equivalent of Superman, eh? An imaginary Robin Hood in a sombrero.
Oh, no comprendo, senor.
Well, never mind, baby. Forget the fairy tales. That kid ought to be home in bed anyway instead of running around a saloon.
He's my little brother.
Oh, I get it now. This is the family game to scare off the Americanos, eh?
No, senor.
Well, I don't scare easily, baby. I don't scare at all.
Ah, bueno.
No, sorry, Say,
¿Qué? What is the matter, Senor Charlie?
nothing, baby, nothing. I just had a great idea, that's all. Thank your little brother for me, baby. He's just given me a great idea. Yeah, a great idea. For a long time I've been thinking, why just 25,000? Why not the whole $500,000? There's something wonderful about those little bags of free gold, you know? They're so negotiable. You don't have to exchange them for anything else before you can get the cash. With $500,000 and Lolita, life could be beautiful. And now the plan was shaping up in my mind. I started putting it into effect as soon as I got back to the camp. Quinn was waiting there for me as I rode up, and I could see he was boiling.
Where in thunder have you been? You were due back 2 days ago.
I got drunk. I didn't feel like hitting the trail this morning.
Oh, just like that. Take it or leave it.
Well, that's it.
I don't blame a man for getting drunk. Once. But I'll send somebody else in for supplies next week.
I'm going in. I got a date next Saturday night.
Listen, Morton, I told you.
You want to fire me now? Huh? You got anybody else that can keep the mill going?
I haven't, and you know it.
All right, then. Let's get to work.
Morton.
Maybe we better speed up a little, too.
Why?
Well, they're talking in town about this El Chico.
El Chico?
Yeah, Bandito thinks he's going to run all the Americanos out of Mexico. He's making war on the Americans. Been raising Cain up north.
Up north?
Yeah. The talk in town was that he's heading down this way.
I was afraid of something like that. You better tell me about it, Morton. Tell me all about it.
It was a cinch. From the very first, he swallowed it all. By the next Saturday, he was begging me to go back to town. Keep my ears open, find out all I could. Of course, I heard plenty. Then Quinn was hurrying the men, trying to figure out a way we could get out. But the way I told him, El Chico had complete control of the province to the north and blocked our way back to the States. The only other way was across the mountains to the west, and they were impassable without native guides. Now, he knew that, but I reminded him. And then the next time I went into town, I brought back the map. A greasy, crumpled, dog-eared pencil map, scrawled on butcher paper. It was a masterpiece. It should have been. It took me a whole night to draw it. And it showed an old wagon road going out over the mountains to the coast. I told Quinn I bought it from an old Mexican. It was the prelude for my trump card.
Okay. Map looks genuine, all right. And if it is, that road can't be more than 10 miles due west of here.
And I figure less than that. Straight over there in that low pass.
My golly, I think you're right.
Sure. All we got to do is to get across this one canyon right here.
And how do you figure we do that? With wings? It's 300 feet deep and 100 wide.
No, it's easy.
Yeah? That tequila you've been swilling in town's got you goofy.
Well, why not throw a bridge across?
I love the way you say that. Like, why not have another flapjack for breakfast?
Look, I'm an engineer, remember? I'll put a bridge across there in 3 days.
Morton, you do that, and I'll take back everything I ever said about you.
The next morning, I tied a 200-foot length of rope around my waist, took a pulley with me, and started down to the bottom. It took me all day to make it up to the other side. I tied the pulley to a jack pine and pulled the rope through tight and tied it off. And then I came back hand over hand. After that, it was simple to finish the slickest suspension bridge you ever laid eyes on. Plenty strong enough to hold all our men and mules, fully loaded. It was so good that even Quinn had the grace to admit it.
I gotta hand it to you, Morton. I've seen a lot of engineers that can work things out on paper, but not many that can do the job themselves.
Thanks.
What do you say we take a look over there tomorrow for that road?
No need to. I took a little walk the day I ran the cable across. The road's there, all right, just where the map shows it.
Oh. All right, if you found it. I guess that takes care of that.
Sure, we're all set.
Thanks to you. I guess I owe you an apology, Morton. Maybe we all owe our lives to you.
That's the only time, before or after, that I had a qualm when he said that. But you gotta be tough. I couldn't forget that. It was too late now to back out. Everything was ready. We were all set to leave on short notice. Quinn wrote a letter to Collins in the States, telling him to meet us on the coast with a boat. Quinn gave me the letter to mail in town. But of course, I never mailed it. I spent my time in town getting the necessary mules and the gear. And then I went to Lolita.
Querido mío, I have missed you.
Well, it's the last time you'll have to miss me, baby. This is it. The diamonds, the fancy clothes, all of it. Yours.
Mine? Querido, you are rich now?
By this time tomorrow, we'll both be rich. With more gold than we'll know what to do with for the rest of our lives.
Gold? You have found much gold?
See, and it's ours, thanks to El Chico.
El Chico, what?
Remember Beware El Chico, the game you played with your brother?
Oh, see.
Well, that's what gave me the idea, and it worked perfectly. We'll have to thank El Chico if we ever run into him.
Oh, I do not think that will happen. After all, El Chico is only in a game, remember?
Well, never mind the games now, baby. We got work to do. Now get some clothes, but keep it light. We'll pull out of here at midnight. And tomorrow we're rich. Whoa there, Alto.
We are here already, querido.
No, but you stay here with the mules while I go into camp with Quinn's train. It'll be dawn in an hour, then you start up.
See.
And remember, raise as much dust as you can. It's part of the plan.
See.
By the time you get there, everything will be ready. Comprende?
See, querido. You are sure there will be no mistake?
Not with me running this clam bake, honey. Now give me a kiss. Atta girl. Hasta luego, baby.
Good luck, querido.
But I wasn't depending on luck. You don't need luck when you got everything figured. By noon, the leader and I'd be on our way back to the States with a trunk full of that yellow stuff. And the men? Well, I didn't even give them a thought. Not even Quinn. Dumb lugs. Too stupid to reach for what they wanted. They deserved whatever life handed them. Just before I rounded the last bend into camp, I stopped to pack. It's awful quiet in the mountains just before dawn. I took a deep breath and... Quinn! Get going, you mangy cusses. Try to look like you've been running for 20 miles. Quinn!
Who is it? What, is that you? What is it? What's the matter?
Alta! Well, we'll have to get out in a hurry. El Chico's on his way here with 20 men. He'll be here inside of 2 hours.
How'd he find out about us?
Oh, it's all my fault. I was a fool to trust Lolita. I thought she was okay. She sent word to El Chico about the gold.
You blasted idiot. I told you to keep your mouth shut.
I know. You can kick me anywhere. I've been kicking myself all the way up here.
I'd like to kill you.
Well, I wouldn't blame you, Quinn.
All right, men, get those mules packed. We're getting out. The gold first. 2 saddlebags for each mule. Hurry.
I worked like a demon alongside the men, getting the stuff packed. And then, just as the last mule was getting his diamond hitch, I grabbed Quinn's arm.
What do you want?
Quinn, I've been thinking. I gotta do something.
Looks to me like you've done enough.
Don't you see? It's my fault. It's up to me to do something now.
This is no time to beat your breast. We're getting out. Getting out of here as fast as we can.
No, look, I got an idea. You gotta let me square myself.
Make it snappy. We can't waste time.
Well, listen. I placed a dynamite charge under the eye bolts at this side of the bridge.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'll stay on this side and wait till you're safely across. Then blow the bolts clean so there'll be no trace left.
I see.
You cut the cables on the other side with a hacksaw, and the whole bridge will drop to the bottom where the brush will hide it. You'll be out of sight when El Chico comes. And I'll tell him you've outslicked him, gone north. He'll waste several days riding after you before he realizes the truth, and by that time, you'll be safe on the coast.
What about you?
Well, that don't matter. This wouldn't have happened if I had shut my mouth off. Come on, you fellas get going.
Nuts. We'll stick together. Cutting the cables on the far side's a good idea. He'll lose a day going back to where he can cross the canyon.
A day is not enough. His horses will catch your moves. We got to destroy every sign of the bridge. Make them think you've gone the other way. I'm staying.
I don't know.
It's the only way, Quinn. Look. You can see the dust cloud over there on the trail. He's coming. You haven't got much time to get out of sight.
All right, Morton. Maybe I was wrong about you. Let me shake your hand. Good luck.
Good luck. That's all guys like Quinn can think about. They don't understand a man who's tough enough to make his own luck. All of them lined up and they shook my hand. They all hated me since I came on the job. Now they were shaking my hand. And in a minute, the lead mule started. Soon they were all strung out on that long, swaying bridge. Quinn stayed till last, spacing them out. I waved to him and waited for him to step out on the bridge. My hand inched toward the plunger. But then the stupid fool started back toward me. Go on, Quinn, hurry. There's no time.
I can catch up with him. Listen, I've been thinking, Morton. Sunday, while you were in town, I looked around for that road. I couldn't find it.
They're all right. You'll find it. Hurry, Quinn.
Maybe so, but I was just thinking. Why'd you plant the dynamite under this end of the bridge?
Well,
Why couldn't you have strung wires and blown it out from the other side?
I just didn't. I made a mistake. All right, I'll take the
You
consequences.
can still do it, Morton. We've got plenty of wire. No need for you to fall into El Chico's hands.
Go on, you fool. Go on. In a minute, it'll be too late.
Too late for what, Morton?
Look at that dust. He's coming.
You know what I think? I think El Chico isn't anywhere within 500 miles of here.
What?
I think you planned to blow up this bridge with the men on it. Drop us all at the bottom where you could pick up the pieces.
Get away, Quinn. You can't stop me now. I'll take care of you later.
Get away from that plunger. Stop it. Morton, get your hand off that. Stop it. No.
The concussion had my head reeling for a few seconds. When the landscape swam back into focus, I could see the bridge was gone. The bridge and the men and the mules. But I couldn't seem to figure out what happened. Quinn lay beside me, very still. I could see blood. How did... I seem to remember hearing a shot. But where did it come from?
Charlie! Senor Charlie!
Lolita! You did it! You shot him! You're wonderful! We did it, baby! We did it! Look it down there! $500,000, baby! 3 million pesos in gold! All we gotta do is go down and pick it up!
Indeed, a good job, senor.
I stared stupidly at the little man in the big sombrero, who stepped out of the manzanita and grinned at me. A smoking revolver dangled from one hairy paw, and the other was pulling Lolita toward him. My Lolita. She put her arms around him and kissed him in a way that she never kissed me.
We will pick up your gold for you, senor. You are a very smart man, Senor Charlie. I should like to be your friend. Except you are gringo. And you mistake to make the love to the sweetheart of El Chico.
Burt Lancaster for a splendid performance. Mr. Lancaster will return in just a moment.
Doc, what do you do for an acute case of goose pimples, huh?
Well, if I knew, I'd prescribe some for myself.
What you both need are some cool, calm, carefree Autolite words from Frank Martin.
Now, Mary, can't a couple of old jalopy men talk about spark plugs?
Everybody's talking about Autolite resistor spark plugs. Why, they're the best thing that's happened in spark plugs for years. Replace your narrow gap spark plugs with the sensational new wide gap Autolite resistor spark plugs. You can actually tell the difference in your car. You'll enjoy immediate improvement like smoother idling and gas saving. Buy a set of Autolite resistor spark plugs tomorrow. So remember, Autolite means spark plugs.
Ignition-engineered resistor spark plugs.
Autolite means batteries.
Stay full batteries.
Autolite means ignition systems.
The lifeline of your car.
Yes, and Autolite also makes in its 26 nationwide plants more than 400 automotive, aviation, and marine products famous the world over for engineered dependability.
And now here again is Mr. Burt Lancaster.
My thanks to the fine cast of radio actors who appeared on tonight's show. Suspense is always one of my favorite programs, whether I'm acting on it or listening to it. And you can be sure that I'll be glued to my radio next Thursday evening when Gregory Peck appears in a story called Hitchhike Poker, another gripping study in
Suspense.
Burt Lancaster will soon be seen in the Norma production, Kiss the Blood Off My Hands. Tonight's suspense play was written by Brett Halliday and adapted for radio by Lawrence Goldman, with music composed by Lucien Morawick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. In the coming weeks, Suspense will present such stars as Robert Young, Virginia Bruce, Edward G. Robinson, Ray Milland, and many others. And of special note, our star tonight, Burt Lancaster, may currently be seen in the film version of Sorry, Wrong Number, that great suspense play, soon to be repeated on this program with Agnes Moorehead in her original role. Make it a point to listen each Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills. And next Thursday, same time, hear Gregory Peck in Hitchhike Poker.
This is the Autolite Suspense Show. Drive slowly. Death and danger travel in fast company. Good night. Switch to Autolite.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Will you give a few seconds of your time to help win this war? Then listen. At Stalingrad the other day, a Nazi tank unit attacked a corps of Russian soldiers. The Russians tried to stop the tanks and fought until their guns were silenced. Then did they surrender? Did they retreat? No. 18 of them rushed forward with bombs in their hands, got under the tanks, and blew them up. They gave their lives for their country. You and I are not asked to give our lives for ours. All we're asked to do is buy war bonds and stamps. Our American soldiers are giving their lives for us each day. More and more of them every day. Can we do less than loan our money to them? It's such a simple, easy thing to do. Out of every dollar you earn, lend 1 dime to your country. Do it regularly by joining the 10% club where you work. And do it now. Our soldiers need your help.
The Columbia Network takes pleasure in bringing you Suspense. Suspense, Columbia's parade of outstanding thrillers, produced by William Spear and scored by Bernard Herrmann. The notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented each week to bring you to the edge of your chair, to keep you in suspense. Tonight's story deals with a remote and dangerous house and a terrifying thing that happened there because the rain went on for days and days. It deals with a surgeon and a girl, a giant, and a young man who took a long chance. And over them all, the moan of the night wind and the ceaseless roar of the storm. For your suspenseful listening, we invite you to learn about the Kettler method. Days of rain there'd been, ceaseless, teeming, pouring with a steady, relentless rhythm. 4 solid days. The fields around Culston had been turned into huge puddles that reflected the heavy, swollen sky. And Dr. Morrissey was stirred by a deep anxiety. He stood beside a window in his sanitarium, which rose high on a lonely hill, a few miles from the little town of Culston, and stared into the jagged, spraying screen of rain. It was just 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock of an afternoon he would long remember. He was on the point of sending for Caffrey, the ward attendant, when the door opened, and Caffrey came in, pale, disturbed.
Dr. Morrissey.
Is there anything wrong, Caffrey?
I don't know. There's a feeling down in the ward.
Feeling?
This rain's going on too long.
The patient's getting uneasy?
They're bound to, ain't they? If a guy with good nerves gets jumpy, you can imagine what it does to theirs.
Seem to be affecting anyone in particular?
Number 5's been carrying on.
Kettler?
Yeah. I brought him up. Nurse Carter's waiting with him out in the hall.
Bad as that?
He's upsetting the others. Keeps asking for some guy named Benham.
Oh, that's the man he killed.
I didn't know he was homicidal.
Oh, it was an accident. He was performing a brain surgery on Benham and...
Him?
Oh, Kettler was a very important surgeon, Caffrey. Didn't you know that?
He keeps saying so, but...
It's perfectly true. Very successful Dr. Kettler was. Until he perfected an operative procedure that he called the Kettler method. A new process of brain operation. Spent most of his life on it and... Well, when he tried it for the first time on this young lad Benham, and Benham died on the table, it unbalanced his mind.
I've got to go back down there now.
I think you'd better wait while I talk with Kettler.
Okay, I'll bring him in. But don't make it long. I don't like the feel of things around here. Nurse, Miss Carter.
Yes, we're coming.
You can bring him in now.
Come along. Dr. Morrissey wants to see you.
Does he now? Does he?
Come in, Kettler.
I'd like to ask Dr. Morrissey a question. I'd like to ask him a question.
Yes, Dr. Kettler.
I should like to ask him where Laird Benham is. I know he'll never tell me.
But I will, Kettler. Lad Benham is buried somewhere out there under the rain. He is at peace, Kettler. Can't you forget about him? Just forget.
You'd all like me to forget about him, wouldn't you? Then you could keep him hidden away forever, couldn't you?
Benham is dead, Kettler. You know that. Benham died.
He did not. He's alive. He was alive when you and the rest of the envious medical profession stole him from the operating table. Kidnapped him with my bandages still round his head. You were determined to make the Kettler method seem a failure, weren't you? Weren't you?
Easy now.
Believe me, Kettler.
I think
Lad
I know
Benham
where
died.
he is now, Dr. Morrissey. He's in the cellar under the ward downstairs, isn't he? Isn't he?
Kettler.
Let me see him. Lad Benham.
Oh, you'd better take him down, Caffrey.
All right. Come along now, sir. I'll take him, nurse. You won't show him to me. Even though it would make me well again.
My cellars are empty, Kettler. Believe me, Benham isn't there.
You sit there in power and order me away.
Come on, Kettler.
There's something I have to say. I've always been above violence, Dr. Morrissey. But the time comes when there's no other course. This is a warning, Doctor. A warning. And the joke is that you won't heed it.
Come on with you.
You won't heed it now. But you'll remember it. And soon you'll remember it. Tables turn, Dr. Morrissey. Tables turn.
Poor thing.
I'm afraid I'm failing with him. Failing completely.
But you're not. It takes time to put a man back together.
Oh, it's taken me too long with Kettler. I'm beginning to be afraid.
If you'll pardon me, Doctor.
Yes?
I do think you're making a mistake.
With him?
No, with yourself. You haven't had a real vacation in 3 years, Dr. Morrissey.
Oh, you think I'm wearing a bit thin just now, don't you? And you're right. But I really can't leave my patients in anyone else's hands. Not now, at any rate. No, I'll have to make the best of it.
But you need relaxation, Doctor.
I know. Well, I hope to soothe my ragged nerves somewhat over this weekend.
Oh?
I've some friends coming down from the city Friday night. Leslie and Claire Winton. Young married couple, newlyweds. And I'm just going to relax with them and forget everything until Monday morning.
You must, Doctor. You do need it so badly. Oh, by the way, Doctor.
Yes?
I slipped some those new sample bandages into your coat pocket.
Thanks. I'll have a look at them.
I think they're quite good. The salesman said that...
Yes, nurse. What is it?
Did you hear something?
Thunder, wasn't it?
Something else besides thunder. I thought it...
Well, I didn't hear it.
My nerves must be getting the best of me. Perhaps it's a case of nurse heal thyself, eh?
I'm not the only one who needs a rest. You know, it might be a very good idea if we both...
Dr. Morrissey.
I heard that.
What is it?
It's coming from the ward. Sounds like... That was a shot, nurse. You get on the phone. Call the police at Colston.
Hello?
Keep at it.
Hello?
Someone's trying to get in from the hall.
Dr. Morrissey!
It's Caffrey. Just a moment. Caffrey, what is it?
He's ganged up on me. All of them are coming up the stairs. Kettler, clear out of here. Oh.
Steady, nurse.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yes.
Dr. Morrissey.
Kettler.
Remember my warning. Remember it, Doctor. Tables turn, Dr. Morrissey. Tables turn.
It rained for 3 more days. Friday night came, black, wet, and glistening. And the 8:15 express groaned into Colston Station, bringing Leslie and Claire Wenton out from the city with their weekend luggage.
Isn't Dr. Morrissey sending his car for us, Leslie?
Yes, Claire. The chauffeur was supposed to drive us over to the sanitarium to pick up the doc, and then we're all going over to his house together.
Well, I don't see any car, do you?
I don't see anything but water. Maybe we're rowing over in a skiff.
Oh, I hate that sound. Like somebody's in agony.
I think you're a little depressed, dear.
Well, I shouldn't be surprised. My head's still aching dreadfully.
Poor lover. How long's that been going on now?
Almost a week. It frightens me.
I don't think it's anything serious.
Waiting in the rain like this doesn't do it any good, I'm sure.
I don't understand. Doc's usually so punctual, right on the dot. You don't suppose we ought to call the sanitarium?
You people for Dr. Morrissey, yes?
What? Yes, we're the Wintons. Doc sent you to pick us up?
I, Cato, Dr. Morrissey's chauffeur. You got luggage?
Yes. Here it is.
I take. You follow me to car. Come.
We're coming.
Leslie,
Yes?
he's tremendous, isn't he? He must be 6.5 feet tall.
I'm over 6 myself, darling. He's nearer 8. That's a giant. Get those shoulders. He could snap me in two like a matchstick.
Well, I hope he likes us.
So do I, light of my life.
Car waiting. You come, please.
But I really don't think he does. Coming.
The heavy car lurched and hurtled over the rain-soaked roads, tearing wildly through the dark and careening up the hillside toward the stark walls of the sanitarium. It skidded to a standstill in front of the main entrance, and cold black Cato led them inside. The brightly lit corridors were deserted, silent, like hallways in a nightmare,
Claire was aware of her headache growing steadily worse as Cato opened the double doors and ushered them into the waiting room.
You'll tell Dr. Morrissey we're here, huh?
Doctor, be with you soon. You do not go away.
Yes, thanks.
I hope we're not staying in here very long.
It isn't very cheery, is it?
Oh, I don't like places like this. I suppose it's very foolish of me, but I always feel as if I'm in some sort of danger.
That's the headache again. Everything seems worse than it really is when you're not feeling well. Don't you always find...
Leslie.
Yes?
Listen. What is it?
Somebody's knocking. Just a moment.
Gracias a Dios.
Who is it, Leslie?
I don't know.
What, you do not know me? I am Arturo Alvarez, the South American pianist. You have heard of me?
Well, sure, I've heard of Arturo Alvarez, but I'd hardly expect to find him in...
Leslie, humor him.
Oh, of course, for a moment I forgot where I was. I've heard of you, Mr. Alvarez. Is there anything I can do for you?
Will you help me? I must get out of this place.
Oh, sure.
I came here several days ago to be treated for a mild nervous trouble. And now they won't let me go. I am being held a prisoner. And tonight I am scheduled to give a concert at Carnegie Hall, and I must get out of here. Please, will you help me?
Number 10 out of the ward again, I see. How many times must I tell you that is strictly against the rules?
I was doing nothing wrong. I was only telling this gentleman that I must be at Carnegie Hall for my concert.
Yes. I'm sure the gentleman was very interested. Cato.
Yes, Doctor.
Cato, you will escort number 10 back to the ward and see to it that he doesn't wander back into the waiting room.
No, I will not be taken back to the ward. Help me.
Oh, no.
Help me, no. I will no.
How strongly he believes in his delusion. Strange fantasy of a diseased mind. Seriously believes that he's Arturo Alvarez.
He was telling me.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I haven't been very cordial. Won't you sit down? Is there anything I can do for you?
Well, you see, Dr. Morrissey invited us up for the weekend.
Oh, yes, of course. He told me he was expecting you.
Does he know we're here?
I'm afraid not. Dr. Morrissey was unexpectedly called away on an emergency case, and I'm in charge of the sanitarium until he returns.
Well, do you have any idea about when that'll be?
Well, it's very hard to say. However, he asked me to ask you to wait and see to it that you're made comfortable. Let me see now. Your name is...
Winton, Leslie Winton. And this is my wife, Claire.
Ah, yes. Permit me to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Kettler, Dr. Morrissey's assistant. What can I do for you? A bite of food or a drink, perhaps?
I don't think so.
There's nothing in the world I want so much as an aspirin.
Aspirin?
Yes, Doctor. She's had a headache that's been troubling her for days. It's terribly annoying.
I can well imagine. Annoying and interesting. That is, to a man of my profession, of course. But if you will step into the inner office, I think I can offer you something a good deal more effective.
Oh, I'd hate to trouble you.
No trouble at all. I find these things most intriguing.
Should I, Leslie?
I think you might as well. Morrissey won't be back for a long time by the looks of things.
Yes, you're quite right, Mr. Winton. Dr. Morrissey won't be back for a long, long time.
Oh, well, then, which way do I go?
Right this way. The large door on your left.
You won't mind waiting alone, will you, darling?
Oh, Mr. Winton shall make himself comfortable. There are cigarettes in the box, whiskey in the liquor cabinet, and a radio behind the ferns there. I'm sure he will be quite happy. After you, Mrs. Winton.
If Dr. Morrissey comes in, let me know.
I hope you'll find everything you want, sir.
Thanks. By the way, Doctor.
Yes?
You said you had something better than aspirin. I didn't know there was anything better than aspirin for a headache.
I have something, Mr. Winton.
Really?
It is a process which I invented myself. One that never fails. A little treatment, very effective and highly complicated, called the Kettler method. Please make yourself at home, Mr. Winton.
Leslie sat there, alone in the big waiting room for a while. Then creeps began setting in, and he thought to himself,
maybe I'll have that drink after all.
He rose and went over to the liquor cabinet that Kettler had pointed out to him and opened it.
Why, there's nothing in here but books.
Yes, books. Books that were so thick with dust that it was clear they'd been there for months. Well, no drink for Leslie. Maybe a cigarette. Kettler said the box was full. He picked it up and started opening it.
Why, it isn't even a cigarette box. The darn thing's a bookend.
Yes, that's just what it was. Leslie began to think it was a tough job making himself at home in that waiting room. And then the idea occurred to him.
Maybe the radio works.
He went over to the radio then, turned it on, and...
We are sorry to announce that the program scheduled for this time from Carnegie Hall has been canceled due to the mysterious disappearance of Arturo Alvarez, the noted South American pianist. Mr. Alvarez was known to be suffering from a minor nervous disorder and was last seen departing on a short trip to Colston in upstate New York.
Alvarez. That guy is Alvarez. What's going on here? Claire! Claire! Locked. Dr. Kettler, open this door. Open it. Do you hear me?
Miss
Claire!
Winton.
Oh, you. Tell him to open up. Tell him. Tell him.
Doctor send me. Tell you, young lady headache bad. Very bad.
What do you mean?
He operate.
Operate?
He say take long time. He say you not wait. You come back tomorrow.
Operate? No, no. Kettler! Kettler! Claire, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Of course she can hear you, Mr. Winton. The operating table is just inside the door.
Bring her out here. Let her go, I tell you, Kettler.
But I find that an operation is indicated, Mr. Winton.
I forbid you to touch her.
You forbid? You? I'm in charge here. No one forbids me. Do you understand?
You're insane. If you lay your hands on her, I'll kill you. So help me, I'll kill you.
Very well, Mr. Winton. If you do not wish me to operate, that's all there is to it. I would scarcely force my services upon you. However, the girl's condition is quite serious, and I... Good work. Good work, Cato, my boy. A master stroke. Do you still forbid me, Mr. Winton? Do you? Do you? Oh, you don't answer. Good, good. Take him to the cellar, Cato, and lodge him there with his friend, Dr. Morrissey. They should have a good deal to talk over in the still hours of the night while I cure the young lady's headache unmolested. You've got to pull yourself together, Leslie. Now try. Try to think. Cato brought you down a few moments ago. You've been hit in the head. Can you remember?
Yes, I was talking to Kettler, trying to make him let Claire go. Claire? Oh, good Lord, Morrissey.
Where is she?
He's got her.
Kettler?
She's on that operating table up there. We've got to do something. We've got to do something.
Well, I'm afraid there's not much we can do. I've been here for 3 days and nights.
What happened?
It was a nightmare come to life. I'd had Kettler in my office for treatment.
Yeah?
He was off on a wild tangent, insisting that I had a man whom he had killed hidden down here in the cellar. That I and the rest of the medical profession had kidnapped him off the operating table with his head still swathed. He thinks I've been keeping this venom from him all along, even though I've known that just one side of him would cure his mental disorders. He hates me with every fiber of his twisted brain. He's a dangerous case, Leslie.
He'll kill Claire?
He may. There's a slim chance he won't.
What's that?
Well, all the surgical instruments are locked away. It's possible they may not be able to find them.
Isn't there any way we can get out of here?
Well, wouldn't I have used it?
Where does that corridor lead to?
To the staircase that goes to the first floor.
Well?
Not a chance. Comes out in the operating room, and they keep that door locked as tight as a drum. Besides, Kettler still has the pistol he took from my nurse.
I've got to think. I've got to. And my head hurts so I can't make good sense.
Let's say that. I think they gave you a nasty cut.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Say, Doc.
Yes?
What was his name?
Who?
The guy Kettler thought you were keeping from him, the one he killed.
Benham. Laird Benham. Why?
Was he a young fellow?
Yes, rather tall, slender chap.
Say, Doc, do you have any bandages down here?
What?
Bandages.
Why, yes, I think so. They're stored down here.
Enough to bandage my whole head, face, and everything?
Why?
I might have a chance of getting through that door up there.
Please, let me go now. Oh, let me go. Leslie! Leslie!
You will be better soon, much better. I will take the pain away, Mrs. Winton. Cato, have you found the surgical case?
Not found yet. I look. Cato, look.
Find it. We must not keep Mrs. Winton in agony. Find it, I say. She'll have to create some order in this place. I want my instruments at hand on a moment's notice.
Please, let me go. Oh, let me go.
You shall be well again, my dear. I promise you shall be.
Doctor, here, tall, white cabinet behind curtain.
That's it. Open it, Cato.
Locked. Locked, Doctor.
Smash it open. Open it.
I do.
You'll find scalpels on the top tray. Bring them to me.
Yes, Doctor. Is here, Doctor. See, knives. Good, sharp knives. Cato find. He find them.
Excellent. How they glitter. It is good to feel the knife in my hand again. Put the others right beside my pistol here on the table.
Please. Oh, please.
There, my girl. I shall expend all my genius on you. You shall be well again.
No. No. No.
Now to work. What was that? Who's there?
Dr. Kettler,
Who is it?
I have found my way back to you. Open the door, Dr. Kettler. I've come back again.
Who are you?
You remember? You remember Laird Benham?
Cato! Cato!
Yes, Doctor.
The door! The door! Let him in! He's come back! Let him in, I say!
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, let me out of here.
He's come back! He's come back, Cato!
Dr. Kettler.
Benham, I knew it. I knew it all along. You're alive. You're living.
Yes.
Living.
Yes, Dr. Kettler.
You. Just as they took you from the table.
Yes. They took me away before the operation was complete. Finish it now. Hurry. I can't live much longer. I'm about to die.
No. Cato, get Benham onto the table.
Girl on table.
Take her off. Take her out of here. Put her in the cellar. Let Benham take her place. At once, you hear?
Yes, Doctor. Cato.
No. No, I won't be put in the cellar. I won't.
It might be well if you went down into the cellar, you know. It's nice down there. You'll see old friends, perhaps. Old friends who need help.
Leslie.
Hurry. Hurry, I say.
Yes, Doctor. Come.
I'm coming.
Are you all right, Benham?
Weaker.
Cato! Cato!
Cato, close door.
No, stop wasting time. Leave the door alone. Help me. Help me get Benham on the table.
Yes, Doctor. Cato, do.
That's right. Now, listen carefully.
Yes.
Good. Now, lie back. Lie back. Gently. All right. Careful now. There we are. Cato, give me the knife.
Yes, Doctor.
Take off the bandages. From the top, Cato. That's correct. That's proper procedure. There. Yeah, now that's... I thought his hair was blonde, not black. Well, perhaps I've forgotten. I've forgotten so many things that... There was a scar on his forehead. I clearly remember a scar on his forehead. Maybe I imagined that, too. Perhaps it was someone else who... Brown eyes. Benham, didn't you have blue eyes? I know they were blue. And your nose. Your nose was thinner and longer. Yes. And your lips. You had thick lips. That I know.
Bandages off, Doctor.
Dr. Kettler, there's a trick here. You're not Benham. You're not Benham. You're that young Mr. Winton.
Dr. Kettler, listen to me.
Cheat. So you wanted me to finish you, did you? Yes, Mr. Winton, I will. Hold him, Cato. Hold him. See the knife, Mr. Winton? Watch it glisten as it comes down, and into the... You don't doubt that he's Arturo Alvarez when you hear him play the piano, do you?
That's a marvelous old instrument you have, Doc.
It was my mother's. This old house has been in the family for generations.
Who'd ever thought we'd be alive to sit in your house and listen to somebody play a concerto?
We wouldn't have been. At least I wouldn't have been if you hadn't snatched that revolver off the table right out from under Kettler's nose before they threw you into the cellar. That was the lifesaver. Made the weekend perfect.
I'm afraid it wasn't very restful.
Hereafter, I'm spending all weekends in a cozy little corner under the L.
It was worse for Claire than anybody. She had a dreadful time.
It was ghastly, all right. Horrible. But you know something?
What?
My headache. It's completely gone.
So ends the Kettler method, the tale of a memorable weekend and a long-awaited dead man who didn't return after all. This was tonight's story of Suspense. Suspense is produced by William Spear. John Dietz was our director this evening. Tonight's radio drama was written by Peter Barry and scored by Bernard Herrmann. Roger DeKoven was Dr. Kettler, John Gibson, Leslie Winton, and Gloria Stewart played Claire Winton. Others in the cast were Guy Repp, Martha Faulkner, Winfield Honey, and Ralph Smiley. Next week at this time, Columbia will bring you another selected story from the world's great literature of thrills, another study in suspense. This is Barry Kroger, and this is the Columbia Broadcasting System.